BBQ Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, welcome aboard, and this is the Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, here's how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter, by the way. If you're like, what newsletter? Go to the main page of the website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and you'll see a little thing at the top that says newsletter. Give me an email address, and every Tuesday around noon Eastern, you'll get a heads up on what's happening on the show later that evening. Every once in a while, if there's a succulent deal being passed around by one of the sponsors or something that you just need to know about, I might send additional, but usually it's just once a week. And if you don't like it after you sign up, then just unsubscribe. Happens all the time. We get new subscribers. We get people unsubscribing. It doesn't seem to matter. Floating right around 1,000 subscribers to that newsletter right now. And if you subscribe to it, before you unsubscribe, you will then be followed up with my homemade barbecue sauce recipe, which you can use at your free will. You can pawn it off as your own. You can take it to market and make millions of dollars. I've decided not to do that. But if you want to do it, go ahead. And you know people on the show that can help you get there with co-packers and sauce makers and all of that. So have at it. My thanks to you for signing up for the newsletter, which can be found at the main website. So here's what's happening in case you didn't get that newsletter that I was just referring to. It is a first Tuesday of a month, if you can believe it. We're in month 7 now, only 5 months left and change. The co-founder of How to Barbecue Right, Malcom Reed, rejoins us. We missed him last month due to a sporting event issue, but he is back and better than ever here this month. So there are a number of topics to talk to Malcom about. Of course, we'll want to get his feedback on Memphis and May, more from a high level. Mark did a great job filling in last month for Malcom and really doing a deep dive, but we'll want to get Malcom's thoughts on that. We'll want to talk to Malcom about mayo and using that as a binder, Blackstone cooking, because flat tops are still the rage and continuing to gain in popularity. Some patents that we've seen come out might lead you to believe that one of the bigger pellet cooker manufacturing companies is thinking about getting into that business as well. So plenty of stuff to talk about Malcom with, and we'll do that in about 11 minutes from now. Then we will move to what is an open segment, but it's not really an open segment at all. The votes are in. And at 35 past the first hour, I will be joined by Utah embedded correspondent Rusty Monson, where we will learn together who the winner of Season 3 of Barbecue Central Show's American Idol will be. Rusty or myself will wear that crown for the next year. Actually, if I win, because I've said this all along, the year I win the show, That's it. No more American Idol. So perhaps a lot of you didn't take that into account, depending on who you were or were not voting for. But I have long said, if I win, or the year I win, that will also be the year that bit dies, and that could happen as soon as 35 passed. So Rusty Monson joining us to see who wins Season 3. Let me know who you think should be winning, as we're just about a half an hour away from learning who will be Season 3's champion. That will do it for the first hour, and then we'll move to the second hour, because it is the first Tuesday of a month. In the second hour, I will be joined by none other than Sam the Cooking Guy. We'll see how that book's going. We'll talk about a huge knife that he's been wielding. We'll talk about his most recent recipes and plenty of other things. I say this half in jest because who knows how the segment is actually going to go. But I do have, as I do consistently every month, an outline of things to talk about. Whether we get to those or not, who knows? But we'll give it a whirl. Also, we will play What Does Sam Like Best? So you'll have to be tuned in through Clubhouse in order to take part in that. And hopefully it's working. I made a few adjustments because it didn't work last week. But we'll just throw caution to the wind, give it a quick shot. If not, maybe I'll play in lieu of somebody in Clubhouse, and then an emailer can be first in to say, I win, and we'll pass the prize off to you. Who knows? That's the fun of doing it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll just see what happens. And then closing out the show is fast food extraordinaire review expert and the official fast food reviewer of this show, Bill Oakley, will be joining us. We'll be talking about that Arby's Wagyu burger in depth and get his take on it. The embedded correspondents did a whole thing on it last week, of course. And 75% of us weren't huge fans. Rusty was a huge fan. But we'll get Bill's take on that. We'll also talk about the strawberry frosty over at Wendy's, and Burger King has a brand new Southwest Bacon Whopper. I think that is the particular term. So you can go ahead and check Bill out to close the show this evening. So that's how it unfolds. Malcom Reed soon. The final results of American Idol Barbecue Central Show's 2022 Season 3 edition. After Malcolm, second hour, Sam the Cooking Guy, and then Bill Oakley. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat at BBQ Central Show. For live video feeds of the show, you can go to Facebook and Twitch/BBQ Central Show. Also over on YouTube/RD Rempe, where there's a lively chat ongoing, and of course audibly on Clubhouse as well. So let's start here this evening.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Reporting from Cleveland, Ohio, Greg Rempe at the Breaking News Desk. From the place that breaks the most live-fire breaking news as it's breaking across the country, nay, the globe. And if you didn't see this on social media about an hour ago, as it was breaking a little more than that, as I knew the better part of a day or two before this. However, it wasn't official until now. And if you don't subscribe to the bullshit or get regular updates from the KCBS, I am here to tell you that the CEO of KCBS, Emily Detweiler, is stepping down at the end of the year. So we wish her and her family good luck on the new endeavor. This coming from KCBS. On behalf of the KCBS Board of Directors, we announced the resignation of Emily Detweiler, Chief Executive Officer, to pursue another opportunity. Ms. Detweiler will be leaving the Kansas City Barbecue Society at the end of July. During her nearly 3-year tenure with KCBS, Ms. Detweiler has been instrumental in leading the organization into the future, as well as leading the organization through some challenging times, like the pandemic, like the shambles it was in when she took over the reins as CEO, with the former CEO not doing anything and making it kind of a wreck, and then also lawsuits that she had to contend with, both from the past CEO and through the whole Randall Bowman and First Media, whatever his business was that he was contracted. There was a whole situation that's going on there. So there were a lot of things that she had to get through, and then also keep an interest in competition barbecue and grow the platform, like steer the vision is what a CEO is supposed to do. So she has found a better opportunity and will be taking that over at the end of July. I do have an interview slated with Emily the first Tuesday in July in what would be Sam the Cooking Guy's traditional segment, but I know he's going to be in Canada and not able to make it next month. So I will have an interview with her. We'll get straight gas on the first Tuesday of August. So if you're looking forward to hearing me questioning Emily about what actually is going on in there and what the future of KCBS looks like and all that fun stuff, we'll get somebody that saw the inner workings of that for the better part of 3 years. So once again, Emily Detweiler resigning as KCBS CEO. I had a bunch of great feedback from the show, but breaking news trumps anything else. Malcom Reed is in the green room. Since the company's humble beginnings in 1987, Oklahoma Joe's has helped those who appreciate the process of craft smoking. What began with Joe Davidson, a Barbecue Hall of Fame member, and a dozen hand-built smokers at the Oklahoma State Fair over 30 years ago, has since forged an Oklahoma Joe's brand that builds some of the most sought-after smokers in the market. Oklahoma Joe's has a proud history of creating uncompromising smokers and grills with a carefully crafted design, and the newest generation of the popular Ryder Series pellet grills carries on that tradition. New features in the Oklahoma Joe's Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grill include a Pit Control 2.0 system that delivers the category's first dual sensor temperature control. There's one at grill grate level and then one where you would normally see it in the smoke temperature cooking chamber. Fire Focus, dual sensor feedback, optimizes temperature control based on the selected cooking style, low and slow smoking or high heat grilling. A power feed system that boasts a high torque auger motor that powers through the pellets for an incredible power and performance. And the new Ryder series builds on several popular features, including the smoke and sear modes, which feature an impressive temperature range that run from 200 degrees to a searing hot 650 degrees, a 20-pound quick draw hopper that allows unused pellets to be drained in seconds for simple storage, removal, and swapping of pellet flavors. If that doesn't trip your trigger to at least check it out, I'm using it frequently. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a quick story on it showing that in its high heat mode, where I had a bunch of boneless, skinless chicken breasts because of the deal I'm doing with Mr. Do Wellness over there, David McDowell. But this thing cooks them up perfectly, great sear. And again, you have direct access to the fire pot. So that allows that searing hot temperature of 650 degrees plus. Is it pellet friendly at that temperature? No, but you know what you're doing. You're getting the high heat. If you want to check it out online before you see it in person, oklahomajoes.com. That's oklahomajoes.com. And the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Cookers. We'll be back with Malcom Reed right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grills from Oklahoma Joe's. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Barbecue Guru, creators of automatic temperature control technology, sellers of ceramic cookers with built-in power draft fans, and accessories to make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit bbqguru.com for more information or call them 800-288-GURU and ask all your questions. The Barbecue Guru continuing to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Joining me this segment, because it is the first Tuesday of a brand new month, is the co-creator of How to Barbecue Right and the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team. We race to the Ryder DLX Pellet Grills hotline, brought to you by Oklahoma Joe's, and welcome back, Malcom Reed. Hey, Malcom.
What's happening, Greg? Happy 4th of July, man. Hope you had a good weekend.
Had a great weekend. On Sunday, I did a massive rib cook on the Oklahoma Joe's. Did 5 racks that I got from our mutual acquaintance, one of the premier purveyors of beef and pork and chicken in the country, Kevin Green from the barbecue shop. And you know what I really like about talking with Kevin is, A, I'm a big shot and have direct access to him, as I know you do, so we can flex our little text message muscles. But I said, hey, I have a really important cook to do. My oldest daughter had her boyfriend in. I want to show off and make sure that I'm doing the right things on the rib side because he's heard I make really great ribs. But what's the most important thing to do? Having consistency in rack size. I don't want a puny rack. I don't want a beefy rack, meaty rack. And then all of a sudden my cook times are all the way off, or I'm pulling them off at indiscriminate times because some are finishing ahead of the others. And I say, Kevin, I need them to be within a tight tolerance. And he said, no problem. He picked out 5 of the Allegiance Duroc pork ribs, and they were within 0.2 of a pound, all 5 racks, and they cooked up tremendously. And to me, that's the key of dealing with Kevin over at the butcher shop is you ask for what you want. He gets you what you want. I know you've had tremendous success doing that as well.
Oh, yeah, man. Those Allegiance ribs are good, too.
Yeah, they're really good.
That's one of the better cooking. You got the St. Louis Bears, didn't you?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's the ones. That's the ones we go to bat with in contests a lot. And I mean, they all cook even like that. You don't see a big discrepancy in the sizes on them. That's what I like about. I don't know if it's just I know Kevin just gets them in, but they have a pretty tight spec on those ribs. It seems like no matter where I get them from, they're always good.
Yeah, they were very impressive. So my 4th of July was great with the rib cook. We did some Atomic Buffalo turds as well, which is always a family favorite. You can never seem to make enough of those. What's on the menu at a Malcom Reed 4th of July?
You know what? I did 5 racks of ribs too. I did baby backs though. Yeah, we did. I did a couple dry racks for Shell. She likes them dry, and then me and Michael kind of experimented a little bit with some different glazes and different stuff in some wrap. He wanted a sweeter rib, so I kind of gave him a little rib tutorial. I kind of oversaw it and let him do all the work, and he turned out some good ribs, man. They were really good.
The thing that BBQ taught me a couple years ago, and that you really seemed to sink in when I heard you say it, that has really turned my ribs around over the last 12 months, is doing the one extra thing I never thought I would actually do. It's not injecting ribs. It's taking that Thermapen and putting it in between the meat after I've let them sit in the foil for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on how big they are, because I don't want to overcook them. But getting them to that target temperature of like 204, 205, 206 degrees, but all of them being there so I know each rack to the next is going to be consistent. That has really changed the game for me.
I used to never temp ribs.
Yeah, never.
And I don't know what it was, but we started noticing that we were getting discrepancies. Sometimes they would be perfectly tender, some other racks wouldn't. So we just decided to start checking them. And the minute we did that, it changed our rib game. And it sounds crazy that you're just, you've got just a little bit of meat between these bones, and it's you can't really put a probe in there and watch them. But a Thermapen goes perfect, and you get those accurate temps. And when you start looking for that temperature, after you rest them a little bit, letting them see, I like that 204, 206. That's always the magic right there for ribs. It's a perfect bite. It's not fall apart, but they just melt in your mouth, and that's what I go with. And so I tell you what, $100 for a Thermapen is probably one of the best investments in barbecue that you can make.
Yep, no doubt about it. And again, it's consistency in the size of the rack, and then it's making sure that target temperature is where you want it from each rack to the next, giving you a consistent rack each and every one. No matter how many you're doing, you're going to get the same end product right off the bat. So we missed you in June, so let's go get some things done here before we get into the new topics, because there are some things I want your takes and answers on. First off, at the end of May, there was a new class inducted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame. Did you know that this was still a thing, and do you know any of the 4 members that won it?
I see it every year, and really, I probably just because of your coverage of it is why I see it.
Oh yeah,
that's
I'm keeping it right on your mind. You can't get away from it if you're going to be palling around with me.
keep it real every year at the Barbecue Hall of Fame, and I'm always, I look forward to seeing who made it. He did. I didn't really have a close relationship with anybody. Leanne made it this year, didn't she?
Yeah, Leanne, Joe Traeger, John Marcus, and Ed Mitchell.
I've met her several times. We've done a few things, and so that was good to see her.
Let's talk about Memphis in May. We had Mark on, as I had mentioned in the open on the show last month. Of course, he gave us a really good look at what happened over the weekend, the finishes the team took. But you're the name most associated with that team, obviously. Give me your thoughts, high level, on the 2020. Where the hell am I at even? The 2022 Memphis in May effort for Killer Hawks.
We had a good year. It was different being away from the Mississippi River, down there on Tom Lee Park. That was all different. So that was probably the biggest struggle, venue change with people. Teams were moved around, and it was so spread out. You didn't get to I didn't feel like we got to visit as much with people that we normally do. And it was, we went in, did our thing, had a good run on Friday or Thursday and Friday's contest. Saturday, they didn't like our ribs this year for some reason. But it happens. We're ready to cook next year. My biggest takeaway was it was a down year as far as the city goes, making money. I think I forget how many millions of dollars they said they lost.
Wow.
Having it where they did. So big takeaway is they're taking it back. They're rushing this park finish so they can have Memphis in May back where it's supposed to be on the banks of the river. So we're excited about going back down there. I know. Memphis in May costs a lot of money for your spot. You spend a lot of money. A lot of that is for location because you want those river views and you want to entertain people when you're down there. And it's hard to do in a parking lot. So, we spent a lot of money and just get a parking lot view. We think we had some old buildings and some dumpsters in front of us. So it wasn't like we had a beautiful view, but it worked. We were on asphalt. The weather was nice. It got hot and it did a little raining, but over it all, it went off without a hitch. We didn't have any problems, and everybody, for the most part, had a good time just because we're cooking barbecue in Memphis. But it'd be better back in its original location.
I was listening to the podcast after the whole thing went down. Am I to understand from that particular show that you might have thought you were jobbed out a little bit in that blind box?
Maybe that's going to be the only place they got us. The on-site stuff, we tended out. It was perfect. And so either we got on a bad table or they just didn't like something in our blind box. I don't know. Our ribs were really good. Outlaw cooked a fantastic rib. And all of our judges from on-site come back and was like, wow, they just, they were blown away. It was, totally some of the best ribs they had that day. But it's Memphis in May. Everybody down there's cooking a good rib. So you've got to win the blind and you've got to get on a table to where you dominate the table. If there's a table where you split it up, it hurts everybody on it. If there's 3 or 4 good ribs on that table and you're all bumping heads, it's going to knock somebody out. So we were one of the ones that got knocked out.
KCBS is known for having that certified barbecue judge, and certainly that opens itself up to its own can of worms that we've seen year after year about complaining of judges, this, that, and the other thing. Is Memphis in May some kind of a certified judging criteria, or is it just what people like for flavor-wise, and that's how they score?
They do certify them, but Memphis in May is one of the few contests that I know that you actually have to pay to judge, and so they end up with a lot of. You do have some repeat judges that do it year after year, but you end up with a lot of new judges every year because they want to come to Memphis and they want to see what it's all about. So there's really the target kind of moves as far as you never know what judge you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get a new judge that likes spicy or a new judge that wants them sweet or they want them super tender. So you just kind of do the best you can there at Memphis. It's hard to make changes from cooking a big contest like that. It's not like a weekly contest that you can go in and you can nail down what the judges are looking for. And so that's what makes it tough. It's one time a year. And to go to changing things, we got a year to practice, but can you really make that big of a change? I don't think we would. We're just going to do what we do.
Heath Riles ends up winning ribs. Do you go? You're really good pals with him. So do you snag a rib of his and taste what won?
We went over there and tried them, and it's one of those ribs where he's a fantastic cook. His accolades say it all for him. And when we took we kind of took our ribs and compared them to his, and there wasn't. I don't know. We had some people say that you couldn't tell a difference. So they were that close, So it just shows you that if you get two similar ribs, one of them can be. I think ours was 46 and his was first. So that's a fine line on something. There wasn't much different to them actually. We all just cooked we called it an old school rib this year. We kind of went back, did some simple things, and tried to play with those new judges and get some flavors in there. And it worked for him. It worked great. He had a great contest, first Memphis and May, first place trophy. So I really thought he was going to win the whole thing, but Brad and Tim snuck in there with that hog on the drum and just dominated. That was awesome.
Yeah, so you're leading into my next question. We're talking with Malcom Reed from How to Barbecue Right. Last week, before we did the Barbecue Central show, American Idol finale, which I'm sure you tuned in and were just blown away by the singing skills of Rusty Monson and myself, I talked to the embedded correspondents, and we all weighed in on that specific win. Everybody but John said this was the biggest quote-unquote coup in competition history, that being Blues Hog winning the hog and then overall grand championship. Do you agree that that's a coup of sorts? Oh,
I mean, definitely, because you got to look. They were going against Mark Lambert in shoulders, and he's won Memphis and May. I don't know, that's 5 or 6 shoulder win, and then you got Heath in there. And those are, two of the top guys in NBN style of barbecue doing on-site judges, and you got those guys to come in from the KCBS background who are phenomenal cooks, and just to come over into NBN and be so strong with that style, with the having to do the on-site, which is totally different than anything they ever do. And they've took it over. They've done it in ribs. They had a really good run in ribs.
Yep,
first couple times they cooked it, and then I think that they won shoulders, I believe, as well the year before, and then they moved to hog, and to dominate and get the world championship in hogs. Man, that just speaks for itself how good those guys are. It's outstanding.
Mark seemed to think that some of the favor was tipped to them because nobody had ever seen a whole hog in that size drum. Do you think that maybe that doesn't even play into it, but aesthetically, that's a pretty impressive thing to look at, I would imagine?
Yeah, I think it's different. And, the Shed's done it with their standing up hog that they cook on the Robo Hog, and they bring it out, which is cool. And so there has to be some factor. Presentation's a big part of it. And when you can sell that you're cooking on something that's unique, that's never been done before, that's a big, that's something that judges pay attention to. Because if they're looking at other hogs and they're just the same old hog that they're used to seeing all the time, and you throw something like that at them, and we all know that barbecue, that anything cooked on a drum is going to have phenomenal taste. And I've always said that's one of the best flavors you can get. It's the old traditional, old brick pit style barbecue where that meat's just dripping over those coals way down low. And I know I didn't even try their hog, but I guarantee you it tasted phenomenal because it cooked right there over those coals the whole time. And for them to pull it off like that's amazing.
Any other thoughts on Memphis and May this year before we wrap it up and move to nonsense?
Man, no, we're just ready to do it again. It's always good to get that one behind you. You have a little recovery time, but by now we're thinking about, man, we're ready for next year. We're gonna win it all next year. You got to have that mindset going forward, and I'm excited for it to be back downtown. So see how that goes. Before
I ask you about the Arby's Wagyu burger, I do want to bring up last year was your inaugural or jump off year with partnering with the Palmer Home and fundraising for the families. Initially was just to feed one home, but you end up raising enough to feed 2 families. Is this something you're doing again this year? Because I think we were right around this time last year when you punched it out.
We definitely are. We started at Memorial Day, and it's the same kind of campaign where we're just donating money. You can go to howtobarbecue.right/Palmer Home, and it'll give you the information, or go to palmerhome.org, and you can see what all kinds of good causes those guys are doing for the kids there. But we started, we pledged to feed 2 families this year. We're well on the way. I think last numbers, it was over $5,000 or something like that we've already raised. And
right.
I know people are going to, this summer it's going to come in, but we're doing a special thing this year. We always try to do something for our top fundraisers. I know y'all helped us last year. You didn't get to come, but maybe this year you can. But
maybe
we're going to do a big pig. We're going to do a pig picking in November, where we just cook a hog here at headquarters, How to Barbecue Right, and have a good time that day. eating barbecue.
Anybody donates $1,000 singularly, I will also match that one time singularly $1,000. So it's out there again. If anybody wants to step up, make sure that you send a note in to Rochelle or Malcolm, say, hey, I'm pledging this amount, just so they can track it. They can let me know, and then I can go ahead and match that donation just so we can make sure that we're doing our part. It's a great cause, and we always want to help you out with the good stuff that you guys are up to out there. Now, last week, aside from talking about what was a coup or what wasn't a coup in competition barbecue, the embedded correspondents and I tasked them to go eat at least one Arby's Wagyu burger. Now, I'm glad I got mine when I did, because all of a sudden I started seeing commercials here in the Cleveland area, and I don't know if this is just regionally or not, but it said, hey, we sold out of the Wagyu burgers, and now we're discounting 2 other menu items. And I was shocked. I'm interested to get your take on the Wagyu burger.
So when I saw it, I had to try it. I mean, if somebody's going to throw out that they're doing a Wagyu burger, I'm going to be one of the ones to step up. And it's fast food. So my take on it was Arby's doesn't have any kind of grill that they're cooking hamburgers on there.
Right.
So, what are they doing to these burgers? Just warming them up coming in. But was it going to be decent? Was it $10? I think I just got the basic combo. You got to get the curly fries with it. That's probably the best thing Arby's has is their curly fries. But the burger wasn't bad. I'm not going to knock it, man. I tried it. It lived up to hype. Was it a Wagyu burger like we would get and cook on a grill? No. But it was to compare it to a McDonald's burger or a Wendy's burger or somewhere else, it was up there for fast food. I would eat another one. It's not something I'm going to go out of my way. But I didn't think it was bad. Now, it wasn't good as a Whataburger. That's my number one fast food burger if you ever had one. But the Whataburger's where it's at. But it was good. It was good.
So 75% of us last week took a dump all over it, thought it was way gimmicky, didn't really smack when you bit into it of the buttery goodness of what a true Wagyu burger would be. But then you're probably looking at a $40 or $50 burger all on its own if it was going to be like that versus the blend that it was in. And I have no way of figuring out what that exact blend was or confirming that. So, but Rusty, who's going to be coming on next segment, was an absolute fan. I think he said he got it 3 or 4 different times over the course of the month just to make sure that, and each one was successfully better than the other. So law of diminishing return didn't even apply to that. So he was a big fan, and good to hear that you are. One last question before I let you go. Mayo as a binder for meat. We know about, I use Worcestershire sauce, especially on pork. I've used, mustard. Everybody, of course, uses mustard. But what about mayo?
I've done it on chicken. That's one place where I've done it in thighs and in KCBS cooking. We've used mayo in place of butter in a muffin pan before, back when that was a big thing.
Yeah,
it works. It's a fat. It's an oil. It's oil based. And so it does pretty well. Now I've added a big spoon of it to my burgers. It's kind of a little secret. If you want to make a juicy burger and give it some richness, when you're making a ground beef patty, add you a tablespoon of mayonnaise in there with the meat. But I've never used it on beef or pork or anything like that. I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, it probably doesn't look great when you got that coated all over a ribeye steak and you go to season it, but it's going to cook off. It's going to melt pretty fast. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, especially on chicken. Do not do it on fish. Some of the worst fish that Shell's ever cooked for me in my life was some kind of mayonnaise basted tilapia that was just disgusting. I wouldn't feed it to a cat.
Oh dear.
And she knows when I call her mayonnaise fish what I'm talking about. It's horrible. It's horrible on fish.
All right, so we'll stay away from the fish, and maybe that'll be the next task that I tell the embedded correspondents to do, and then we all circle back up at the end of a month and give it a try. Mayo as a binder, although I have people in the chat room saying binder is a barrier, but sometimes you need to be able to hold that spice on, and we're just looking for different things. Anything else before I let you go here, Malcolm, that you're looking to promote?
Man, no, just that we already talked about the Palmer Home thing. That's the big thing we're doing. We are helping sponsor a SEA contest down in Arkansas. If any of your listeners are going to be in Melbourne, Arkansas on August the 13th, there's a big SEA state contest. They're doing the first ever trout ancillary.
Oh,
so anything trout's going to be one. Trout will be provided. So that's going to be unique. hopefully nobody uses mayo
No
on
doubt.
trout. But that's what we got coming up, and we're just wrapping up. Seems like we're blowing through this year, Greg. It's already July, man. We're over halfway now. So
1.43 million subscribers on YouTube. If you're not one of them, make sure you go over and do that. Otherwise, check out the website, howtobbqright.com, and you can see this guy right here on the first Tuesday of every month. Malcom Reed, always appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you again in August.
yes, sir. Have a good one, Greg. We'll see you next month, man.
All right, there he is, Malcom Reed, right there.
All guests appear via the Oklahoma Joe's Rider Deluxe
I would
Pellet Grills
assume
hotline.
everybody's subscribed to him on YouTube, but I don't want to assume. Sam, the cooking guy, yelled at me for assuming the last time. So if you aren't, or you're new to the show, or just hearing it for the first time, and you want the authority of barbecue on YouTube, go over to How to BBQ Right, or search that over on YouTube, and then make sure you're subscribed to Malcolm's channel. Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah is ready to jump aboard here, and we will both find out together who your Season 3 American Idol Barbecue Central Show Edition champion will be. Does the competition end tonight for good? We'll all wait and see here in just one moment. Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. A curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies gets you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself, from the award-winning rubs and sauces, the American-made grills and smokers. Big Papa Smokers has something for every type of outdoor cook. So we know about the rubs and seasoning. I'm actually getting a shipment of all of the new rubs and seasonings that he's coming out with, so looking forward to that. But you have popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners in the competition circuit and in backyards. 13 perfectly balanced flavors that transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. Now, if you're looking for a new go-to sauce because you're sick and tired of what's existing out there, you want something new, Granny's barbecue sauce is the new go-to barbecue sauce that will please everybody. Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us of why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. And aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, they have those pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers available for sale on the website. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages that nobody else is offering. If you're not sure of what grill you need, call them and ask questions. They'll steer you in the right direction. 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop their website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. We are back to find out who wins Season 3 of Barbecue Central Show's American Idol right after this. Stick around, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grills from Oklahoma Joe's. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
We thank Malcom Reed for joining us last segment. This portion of Barbecue Central Show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit Cookin, C-O-O-K-I-N, cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase, or to see what other products they have that might add a little smoky goodness to whatever it is you're cooking. And now we will welcome in the embedded correspondent from the great city of Utah, the creator of Salt City Barbecue and Associated Trailer, Rusty Monson. Hey, Rusty.
Hey, what's going on?
Are you a believer and doer of temping your ribs to make sure they're done?
I don't think I can remember last time I temped a rib in my entire life. It's been years since I've temped a rib.
It's a thing you don't do?
Never. Ever.
Why not?
I mean, every single pig has lived a different life, you know. When's that one going to be done as opposed to this one's going to be done? You know, how thick is this one? What's going on under the fat? You know, you just never know. And so if you're just saying, well, I'm going to pull a 204, you know, then you're going to have some tough ribs sometimes. And if you pull it, you know, probe tender, which, you know, is kind of variable, then you're going to be successful every single time. And if you're focused in on one temperature, you're not going to be consistent.
Rusty Monson joining us here on the show. I was just starting to dive off into a bunch of barbecue trailer follow-up questions, but we have maybe a month or so before that third month is eclipsed, and then we come back for another quarterly visit. How is everything going, just generally speaking?
Good.
Yeah?
I was up at 4:30 a.m. yesterday and got home at midnight, and today I had a lunch until a few hours ago, and I'm heading back to the commissary to do it all again tomorrow.
Wow.
Tonight after this set.
Loving every minute of it?
Yeah, it's fun. Like I said, you have to have passion to push through, and it keeps. I must have far more passion than I had ever imagined.
Yes, you must.
It's fun. It's fun.
All right, Rusty. We have come to the point in the segment where we will start to begin the unveiling of who will be a Season 3 Barbecue Central Show's American Idol Grand Champion. Now, you are somebody who, of course, is used to winning grand championships, that being on the barbecue stage, not necessarily on the singing stage. Last year was your first year into the singing competition. You have no choice. I mean, I make everybody do it, much to their chagrin. However, what I've come to find over the last 3 years is that the singing has ramped up every single year. The production value prior to the live singing, whoever makes it into the finals, has risen each and every year. So as you now get through your second year, I'm interested to hear what your overall take is from year 1 to year 2. What did you like and what didn't you like?
I think everyone got a little bit better. I honestly think that the judges help because I think, they make us understand that we have to stay within our, what we can do vocally, which for me is basically nothing. And so I have a very slim, but they say, hey, stay in your lane, don't try and go crazy. And if you do, then whatever. And then you learn like John did, like, don't do a song everyone knows differently. So, we're always learning. And if we continue to do this and, down the road, everyone's going to get a lot better. And I think from 1 to 2, I think everyone made a big jump. I listened to the first year. I think that last year was fun. And I think everyone kind of got in a groove, especially John. He really figured out what he wanted to do.
Yep.
And I think overall, everyone did, I actually think, a good job this time. I mean, I actually enjoyed the songs instead of being like, "Ooh, Jesus," so I think it was good.
Did you think adding the professional singer to the judging panel was more self-serving for me, or do you think it was worthwhile?
I thought it was great. I just think he was way too positive, man. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you look someone in the eye and go, "That was good, man."
I was jamming out to your suck.
I know. I was like, ooh, I get it. He wants to be nice. That's cool. But man, sometimes you just got to let people know that they suck so they can either get better or quit. And that's just how it should be.
Well, the good news is the girls in studio continue to have a razor's tongue and a unique ability to not hold back any punches. So whether Jose was being extremely nice for no good reason, we were certainly brought back to reality quickly by Bobby, Maddie, and Marley and what they thought of things. Although, I have to say, this was probably the first year where there were many more kudos than ball kicks from them.
Like I said, I think they got better. We all kind of got better. We kind of realized, based off listening to them, what we should be doing. And I think people took that seriously, and I think it got better.
Well, Rusty, for those that missed last week's finale, I do have a bit of a recap before we get to the actual results here. The way the finals work is this. 2 are picked. It was Rusty and myself. We, before Sing Live, had pre-recorded a duet of sorts. This one was the ever-popular 80s song, maybe it was early 90s, Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne's Close My Eyes Forever. And if you missed it, it sounded like this.
If I close my eyes forever, will it all remain the same?
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. You gotta close your eyes for me.
So that was the duet. John said, from a production standpoint, the best mix that any recorded song has seen. So, and I mixed that. Didn't give it to my sound guy because I didn't want to bother him this time around. But he's got other things going on. And so I was happy to hear that from him because he's obviously got that keen ear. And then, so I was picked as being the winner of the duet, whatever that means, basically affording me the opportunity to go last. So Rusty went first. And tell everybody what you sang, Rusty, and why you picked it.
I was driving home every day from work, and trying to pick these songs and sing along, see if I can do it. And then last minute, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a song I know. And that's what got me here is because I've been so busy. I would literally come down and sit down and go, okay, I have to do this song. Screw it. That's what I'm going to do. And I just put the song on. I'm like, that's the one we're doing. I'm sending that to Greg. Let's go. Why change in the middle of a competition? They say in competition, never, ever change your recipe until you can, practice it. And I had no time to do that. So I stuck to the game plan. And I just was listening to the radio, and that song came on. And go, oh, I love that song. I know every word. That's what I'm doing tonight. That's why I did it.
And that song was Ween's Piss Up a Rope. We've also come to find out that you're a fairly large Ween fan. My favoritist Ween song is Baby Bitch. I've never heard of Piss Up a Rope, but Baby Bitch is one of my favorite songs, period. You also introduced Jose Urquiza, lead singer of 3 Years Hollow, to Ween, which is a win for Ween, gaining a new fan.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. That record called 12 Great Country Hits, even though I think there's only 11 songs on it, the backing band was Elvis's old band. Just a little
Elvis Presley?
Elvis Presley's backing band was the backing band on that album.
All right. If you missed Rusty's live rendition of Piss Up a Rope, here's what that sounded like.
You can piss up a rope and you can put on your shoes, hit the road, get trucking. Pack your bag, I don't need the ag. On your knees, you big booty bitch, start sucking. You ride my ass like a horse in a saddle. Now you're up Schitt's Creek with a turd for a paddle. And I can't cope, a piss up a rope.
Wow. I got to tell you, it's just as magical hearing the recap. And I was, again, as I'd mentioned last week, after hearing it, there was a uniqueness to it. There was a unabashed profanity to it. And I said, here is something that's come up that I wasn't expecting, because I then followed that up with, I guess what would be a rock standard, Bon Jovi mega hit, Wanted Dead or Alive, or whatever it's called. I was like, wow, I'm actually questioning my choice of song. Should I have gone over the top? As I had mentioned, after singing it, this was a song I tried to sing 7 or 8 times in the car leading up to deciding on the song, realizing that I can't sing it the way I wanted to sing it full go from start to finish. So I had to start out almost in a harmony sense to keep it down. And then once that last verse kicked in, then I went up into high gear, but could only do it for a verse and hope that I could make it through the rest of the song without cracking, which luckily I was able to do for the most part. If you missed that, here's what Dead or Alive sounded like on my end.
When I walk these streets, a load of 6-string on my back, I'm playing for keeps, 'cause I might not make it back. I've been everywhere, and I'm standing tall. I've seen a million faces, and I've rocked them all, 'cause I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride. I'm wanted, dead or alive.
All right, so that's Dead or Alive from me. You know, I hear it back. I'm not as impressed hearing it back as I was with myself singing it live. I don't know if that's just like a common thing or not, but I did feel like the end was the saving grace. Otherwise, I think I might have got booed out of the place.
Yeah, I actually was listening to that, and I at first I was like, oh shit, I won this thing. That's nuts. I'm going to win this thing. I'm going to win this thing. And the second half go, okay, I lost this thing. It's over.
Well,
you I don't know if you realized halfway through, or maybe just got a little bit of like, you got used to it or whatever. That second half was just like flawless. And I'm like, oh, there it goes.
Well, it's all come down to this, Rusty. Voting opened up at the end of the show last week. It ran until Sunday to 11:59 p.m. Eastern, and the votes are in. First and foremost, record number of votes this year, as we've done in successive years, so that's great. 647 total unique individual votes, not like the Barbecue Hall of Fame gets, like a bunch of repeats. These were all verified individual unique votes. And then the final tally, if you can believe it, 31 votes separates first place and second place. Winning season 3, 2022 champion, your humble host, Greg Remp. 339 votes for me, 308 votes for Rusty. And I didn't think it was going to be that close. I knew it was going to be close, but I didn't think it was going to be less than 50 votes separating us, which continues to show how good we are and how everybody else sucked this year. I'll say it. You don't have to. And I will now wear the crown. However, that puts us in a very precarious and unique position, because I've maintained all along that the year I win it, the year is also the year we kill it. So, unless, maybe we'll put this to a vote at the end of July with the embedded correspondents, because they're also involved in this. But I'll ask you first, and then you can take 3 weeks to reflect and see if you want to recant. Is this something that I'm being too spontaneous on, that I'm going to hold myself to saying, hey, we're going to kill it, or my word is my bond?
Your word is your bond. I'd rather talk about barbecue, even though this is fun. It would be one of those things that John can play with a couple years down the road on his podcast and recap these days, and we can talk about them fondly. But I think we should get to, talking about some Arby's or something like that.
All right, Rusty says we're done with it. Hold firm. That's my first thought, of course, but we'll ask John and Doug at the end of the month. Rusty, anything else before I let you go tonight, promotion-wise?
Now, guys, just follow me on Soul City Barbecue, spelled out with a C, and listen to the Pitmasters podcast. We have Matt Hansen coming up this Thursday. As you know, I'm a huge fan of his. He's one of my mentors, so it'll be a good episode.
Rusty, I do want to thank you again for taking part in this nonsense. And, of course, the live show is a completely different Herculean effort that one has to actually go through. It's singing live, but then there's production stuff that we have to do, and you were testing with me. So there's a above and beyond. John has done it. Reiser did it the year before that, and now your efforts. I certainly appreciate it. Can't do the show without you in many different ways. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this, and I certainly appreciate you.
Hey, man, every time we do it, it's fun no matter what we do. I appreciate you, man.
All right, there he is, Rusty Monson, right there.
All guests appear via the Oklahoma Joe's Rider Deluxe Pellet Grills hotline.
And the good news is this: I'm the winner! Holy moly. 31 votes separating Rusty and myself. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm the winner of Season 3's Barbecue Central Show's American Idol. 339 votes for me, 308 votes for Rusty, 647 total votes. And we're done with it. And not only are we done with it, we are done with it. However, in order to maintain a small window of hypocrisy, we will ask the embedded correspondents what they think, if they have had enough, and that I should also stick to my word. I'm pretty sure on Doug, I'm 98% sure on John that they will also want me to maintain my word on that and not continue into year 4. But we will leave it to them to answer. I don't want to speak for them. Rusty has already made his initial answer, but we'll go back to him in 3 weeks' time to make sure that he doesn't change his mind. But right now, this is it. American Idol is over, Barbecue Central Show edition. I go out on the high note, being season 3 winner. And again, only 31 votes separating me and Rusty. 647 total unique votes. Wow. Unbelievable. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. Some of the premier pellet cookers out there on the market today. A choice line if you just need a great cooker, but you don't need all the dilly-dally bells and whistles. Now, if you want dilly-dally and bells and whistles, Prime line or Prime Plus. A little bit more of a robust build on the chassis, of course. Lights in the cooking chamber, peak-in windows on the cooking chamber and pellet hopper. 2 internal meat probes. Wi-Fi, connectivity, app ability as well. So if you want to adjust the cooker up and down temperature-wise or create custom cook cycles, you can do it all there on the app. You never even have to go outside. Plus, to put more pellets in the hopper. That's really the only other time you need to do it, aside from putting the meat on and then taking the meat off. It's great. Only sold through dealers. Find a dealer near you. GreenMountainGrill.com. Find the dealer, visit the dealer, get educated, buy the one that best fits your needs. The best news between the Prime and the Choice, the high heat pizza oven insert fits both. And if you're looking for a portable one, the Trek is something that can fit in the back of most trucks, vans, and SUVs and plugs right into the 12-volt receptacle in your vehicle. GreenMountainGrill.com, longtime sponsor of the show. We appreciate Jason Baker and the gang out there. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grills from Oklahoma Joe's. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back, and we thank Rusty Monson for joining me last segment, finding out who the overall winner of Season 3's Barbecue Central Show's American Idol. That is me, and that means the show's over, folks. No more American Idol, but we will get further consideration from Rusty again and John and Doug at the end of this month as we join them for the Embedded Correspondence segment. This portion brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck. Fireboard, fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Fireboard 2, Fireboard 2 Drive, Fireboard 2 Pro, and the Fireboard Spark. I don't have enough time right now as we are closing out the first hour to get to the other item that I wanted to get to in the open segment, but I really Bob Barkered that whole segment out. Congratulations to me and Rusty for helping me figure out a way to do that. July 4th is known for a few different things, the celebrating of America's birthday, but most notably in the land of competitive eating, the Nathan's world-famous hot dog eating contest. Yes, Joey Chestnut, who has appeared on this show no less than 2 times over the years, won again, his 15th championship in a row. And while he was well below his personal record, that's not even really the most impressive thing that happened during the hot dog eating contest. And I will be bringing that to you perhaps at the top of the second hour after I get through some other promo work with best ofs and promotions of other things. But if you missed it, if you're totally in the dark on competitive eating, if you didn't see it in your local news or whatever, you're going to want to, if you're listening audibly, you're going to want to get to a video source, or if you get this in podcast, you're going to want to go to one of the video archives and look at this if you missed it, because it is one of the most impressive pieces of competition eating footage, and it has nothing to do with eating. Nothing. We're pointing to the second hour, refresh libations, and we will see you back here in just a few minutes. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show, and we're broadcasting from the Ryder Deluxe, the Ryder DLX Pellet Grills hotline from Oklahoma Joe's. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to BBQ Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Yeah, just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. It's the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about live fire, barbecue, and grilling items, or anything else that's important. For instance, the breaking news that just happened before the show went live, actually a few hours before the show went live. Emily Detweiler, CEO of KCBS, has tendered her resignation. She will finish out the rest of the month, and that will be it as her time as CEO of KCBS. We will have her on the first Tuesday at the 10:14 p.m. Eastern segment. The first Tuesday in August. Sam, the cooking guy, is usually in that segment. He'll be here in about 12 minutes from now. And he will be in Canada, not able to make it, and luckily we'll be able to backfill very, very nicely with the former CEO of KCBS, Emily Detweiler. This show is being brought to you from right here in
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
As I had mentioned, still to come on the show tonight, Sam the cooking guy, and closing out the show in the proverbial food bullpen, Bill Oakley, the official fast food reviewer of this show and fast food reviewer and critic on his own. That Bill Oakley on Instagram if you want to follow him over there. Don't forget you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat. /BBQ Central Show on Facebook and Twitch for a video feed. Also /RD Rempe on YouTube for a video feed and a quite lively chat going on. We're also audibly available on Clubhouse as well. Now, should I do this in advance just to see? Why not? I'm going to throw caution to the wind and invite my pal Johnny Mac here. John, can you hear me?
Hi, Greg.
Hey, it works this week. Well, great. All right. Well, you, of course, are a previous winner, so if Rod Schrader is continuing to hang around, we'll see if he wants to play first, and if not, we'll get you back up on stage and see if you can't win another round of what does Sam like best. So if you don't mind, I will move you back to the audience, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that over the next handful of minutes, the connection doesn't drop from Clubhouse, but it seems to be a finicky piece of software, to say the least, or the best. Where are we at? Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this Friday, episode 236 will hit the podcast feed, taking you back to July 1st, 2014, where we feature pitmaster of Simply Marvelous, the genie Steph Franklin. You might find it interesting to note, as you will hear in the show, that Big Mista, one of the original fans and guests here on this show. Neil, what's up? Husband to the Ghetto Country brand mother, by the way, who's also been on this show, Mrs. Mista, who she was known formally. Neil was actually the one responsible for introducing Steph to competition barbecue back in the day. Neil was a pretty big name on the competition scene back in the day, also one who was really into utilizing farmers markets, where he was in South L.A. I think he was at the Watts and other farmers markets around that general area, really utilizing, I would say exploiting, but only in a good sense, of getting his barbecue out into an area that perhaps wasn't really utilized as much. But again, a huge name back in the day, since kind of gotten out of that portion of the industry. Still cooking, but really not a force in the barbecue world anymore. So anyway, we learn about Steph's catering business and how he also got into the rub business. For years, Simply Marvelous and Big Papa Smoker's rubs were linked together because they made up the very popular West Coast offense. There was always a lot of talk about what is the West Coast offense. As the years have worn on, it has become more and more apparent that as long as you used Big Papa Smoker's rubs and Simply Marvelous rubs in some combination, that was, in essence, a West Coast offense. And the flavor profile, many different cooks were using at that point, still do currently, and doing really well at it. So if you are familiar with the Genie, this is a show you want to check out. And don't forget, if there's a guest or a segment that you want to hear again that's been lost in the archives, email John and let him know what you would like to hear, JON at thebbqcentralshow.com. Upcoming shows for the rest of this month include first-time visits with famed writer Larry Olmsted, Jonathan Jones for the first time as well, Leanne Whippen on to talk about Barbecue Hall of Fame. Jess Pryles will be here. Obviously, Sam the Cooking Guy coming up here in just a few short moments, but we have a ton of other great stuff coming up for the rest of the month, so stay tuned for that. Now, well, I was going to mention that I have just locked up my deal with the folks over at Hartville Hardware for the Grill Fest 2022. That'll take place September 17th. More on that to come, but my deal is locked in. I believe BBQ will also be there, and I will talk about some other guests, and perhaps I will have those other guests on to talk about it as the event draws closer. Again, that's September 17th. That's a Saturday. I will be there all day, emceeing, interacting with the live demos. It's going to be great. But here's what we really want to talk about this evening. As I had mentioned on the way out of the first hour and coming into the second hour, the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest took place July 4th, of course. Joey Chestnut took part in that, of course, and won again. His 15th in a row. Now, last year, did he do 76 hot dogs and buns? Not 54. He ate 76 wieners? Yes. This year, I think it was 64. There was a lot of talk about how he was so much further ahead than everybody else at the mid-50s. He just put it on cruise control. It was hot. The weather wasn't perfect for him, and he has talked about it on this show that there are perfect eating weather conditions for him, especially when it comes to the hot dog, because as he had said, he's not somebody that eats, waits for the competition to end, and then goes offload the hull. He actually lays down for a number of hours afterwards and digests all of the hot dogs, all of the buns, all of the water, all naturally. He doesn't throw up, doesn't do his own reversal of fortune, nothing. So this is what happens when you do it the right way. You have to lay down and take a few hours off, let all 10,000 calories and 8 pounds or whatever he put on in a 10-minute frame, which seems very unhealthy, but he goes to the doctor 6 times a year, gets checked out routinely. And this isn't the only eating contest that he does. He does a number of them a year. He's like the Tiger Woods of competitive eating. They pay for him to go places. They give an appearance fee, and then if he wins, he also gets that money. So he's very good at what he does. He's the most well-known competitive eater. But who gives a crap about all of that?
Get that big stuff out of here.
I'm going to switch screens now, so you won't see. Actually, I'll overlay myself at the top right here. At this stage of the competition, you can see Joey here. You can see my cursor rolling around. Here's Joey right here. He's got 16 hot dogs down at the time to the left of him, or I guess that would be to his right. Somebody's at 10. There's a couple other guys at 12. So at worst, he's 4 ahead. At best, he's 6 ahead of the nearest competitors. So he's well on his way. He's 40 away from the number he ends up attaining. But what do you think happens? Well, if you missed it, here's exactly what happens. Somebody comes in, bumps Joey, but wait, boom, boom. What the hell just happened there? If you missed it again, there's obviously a protester. Here he comes. If you're missing it, he's right here in the middle, in between Joey and this guy. He's got a sign that says some kind of nonsense, getting his message out. He probably thinks he's a pretty cool guy. Maybe there's some gal in the audience. It's like, you won't do it. And if you do it, I'm going to lay down for you. I mean, who knows? This guy, so invested in getting that sign out in front of the television, bumps Joey Chestnut. Almost knocks him to the ground. Look at this. Boom. Knocks him off his pedal. Now, keep in mind, Joey Chestnut working on a torn Achilles. He shows up in a boot and crutches. He's a hobbled man. Gets bumped. Almost goes to the ground. Joey does not even blink an eyelash after he gets his wits about him as I roll it back here. Here's a guy at this stage. This guy thinks, man, I am pretty cool right now. I get my message out, expose Smithfield's Death Star. I think it was a protesting of actually Smithfield, which is sponsor of this show. So, of course, we hate that. But this guy's feeling pretty good about himself right now. And then right about here where Joey gets his wits about him, right arm goes right around his throat. And then right about here, this guy realizes that maybe getting laid and getting his point across is not the best idea that he's ever had, because Joey Chestnut is now not putting the jaws around the hot dogs, or glizzies, as I've been told they're called. He is now putting a chokehold, a death chokehold on this guy, and then proceeds to rip as hard as he can to the right. I can't confirm this. I looked up all over the internet. I'm pretty sure that Joey Chestnut killed this guy. If this isn't the textbook look of every movie of some hero or villain breaking some guy's neck with a quick turn to the right, I don't know what it is. Plus, the guy falls down and you never see him get up. Take a quick look at this. Bump, right, snap, and then boom, down he goes. You don't see him get up. He falls right down with a snapped neck. He's probably paralyzed. What have we learned from this? Joey Chestnut is not to be played with. Torn Achilles, showing up in a boot, on crutches, 17 dogs in, bump, right arm around the neck, break your neck. If that isn't the most unbelievable piece of footage that I have ever seen, who cares that he put... And then he got down to eating 40 more hot dogs after that? A mere bump in the action. You bumped me, I just broke your neck, and now I'm going to get back to eating 40 more hot dogs. It's insane. I can't believe that happened. Didn't even think twice. He probably saw the Darth Vader mask and was like, this guy's a complete douche. I can take him. So he did. Wow. That's some of the most impressive competitive eating, non-competitive eating footage I have ever seen in my life. And I would love to get Joey Chestnut back on the show. Who cares about the hot dogs? I want to talk about how he broke that guy's neck. Broke his neck. Wow. Sam the Cooking Guy, I'm sure, has a thought or two about Joey Chestnut breaking some guy's neck on record and then eating 40 more hot dogs just to pass the time. Before we get to Sam, Yoder Smokers designs and builds all of their products right here in the States, and building pride through craftsmanship and world-class customer service is the backbone of how they've built the company. This approach translates into what can be a truly bespoke style product that elevates gatherings with friends and family. Honored to have a trusted place in the backyards of America. From pellet grills to wood-fueled offset pits or charcoal grills, consistent blue ribbon flavor has become synonymous with the Yoder Smokers name. Make no mistake, Yoder Smokers' flavor-driven design is unique to each style of pit, and the team has developed their cookers to perform time and time again while outlasting the competition for generations to come. It's this generational thought that's rooted in the handmade products and defines the integrity of the core values, handmade quality, and endless flavor. The benchmarks of Yoder Smokers. Visit yodersmokers.com and grab yours today. We are back with Sam the Cooking Guy right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show, presented by the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grills from Oklahoma Joe's. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes and a host of accessories. Whether you're just a beginner or you're a seasoned professional, definitely a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My next guest is a YouTube cooking sensation with 3.34 million YouTube subscribers at last check. He has won many Emmys. He once told Hoda Kotb and Kathy Lee Gifford to pay attention 1 minute and is in the Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame. Let's head to the Oklahoma Joe's Rider DLX Pellet Grills hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Sam the Cooking Guy. Hey, Sam.
Friend of the show. I love that, man.
Yeah, I always like to say friend of the show. Anybody that's ever been on the show once and then comes back on again.
Once?
Well, once, but then you have to come back on again.
I mean, you could have like a huge asshole on this show, and if they were only on once, but were an asshole,
no,
they would be a friend of the show.
You have to be on once and then come back. So then
Yes,
you
but
are a
if
friend
the
of
guy's
show.
an asshole, if the guy or woman is an asshole the first time,
Well, then I
and
wouldn't
they
have him back
come
on.
a second ti- Wait a minute, maybe they're good entertainment.
I mean, you better
maybe
be
they are.
really good entertainment, like better than Sam the Cooking Guy
Hey,
or
listen,
you name it.
I asked Hoda Kotb and Kathy Gifford to stop talking, and I thought that would be my end of my appearances on the Today Show. That was my second time. I went back 10 more times because they recognized that I was fun and maybe a little out of the box, but good entertainment. I just didn't go back with Hoda or Kathy Lee. So you might have a guy on that's a complete asshole. You choose to have him back because he's controversial. Look, like when Meathead, falls asleep, or maybe it's good entertainment, that kind of thing. So you have the person on. If they're an asshole, are they still a friend of the show, or are they then an asshole friend of the show?
Well, in the way you're describing, if they're an a-hole to me,
go ahead.
Then no, you're not coming back on the show, and you're definitely not a friend of the show. But again, if you're being bristly or you're controversial or you're irreverent, that's a term I like to use, and
Yes,
maybe you've
I use that about
offended
myself.
listeners, then yes,
Yes, go
you
ahead.
are a
Okay,
friend of the show the next time you're on. Why not?
Good.
A lot of people find Derek Riches to be bristly. I have him on monthly, and
I like to listen to
he's
him.
a friend of the show.
He's a great guest.
Yes, very good.
Love listening to him. Yeah.
Hey, do you want to play What Does Sam Like Best?
The only reason I'm on here is to play What Does Sam Like Best.
All right. Do you want to know how we're going to play What Does Sam Like Best?
If it's one of the 2 or 3 people that are always on, then I'm not playing.
Oh no.
Tonight, go to your little room and see if you can find somebody.
Yeah, I got Clubhouse on right now. I'm inviting somebody that typically isn't on. Now, usually this guy's a city worker, so he just might be in a situation where he's not able to.
What city? What city?
Beechwood, Ohio. I've actually met this guy a couple times in person. He's a local fan of the show. I've shown my celebrity to him, and he still finds me cool enough to talk to after.
By the way, the city workers are some of the most important people that we have.
Yes.
They really are.
All right, well, he's not taking the invite. However,
interesting.
There
Look
is
Clubhouse
somebody else.
not working again.
No. It is working. He's just not
The
able
only
to
2
take
people I know that use Clubhouse are you and Sean.
And Sean, yes. Well, good news.
The only 2.
Joining us to play What Does Sam Like Best is Joe Martinez. Hey, Joe. Joe, are you on mute? There's no way this is happening.
The music is crescendoing.
Hold on a second.
And
There's
nothing's
no
happening.
way this is happening because I just checked it before you came on.
Let me make a bold statement.
No, I don't want to hear it.
fuck
I
Clubhouse.
checked it. But
I don't care. It
Hold on.
doesn't work.
Hold on. I know it works. Watch this.
6 people use it, and they have. Jesus Christ.
John, you're there, right?
Hi, Greg.
See, I know it's working, but why isn't it working for Joe? Joe, are you there? Yeah. Joe, are you there? I thought I just heard him come on. No, he's not on.
You said John.
All right. Joe. I'm saying Joe. He's on stage. I can see him. He's got a microphone and everything. Here's what we're going to do.
Can they just not go fix that platform? Because it doesn't work.
Well, I have no ability to. Let's do this. In order to keep some kind of momentum going, let's have John play for Rod. Can we do that?
Who? John who?
Johnny Mags. He's won already. He won a book. But can John play for Rod?
Yes, and if John wins, he's not getting whatever I'm giving.
Right. John understands. He knows what the deal is, but evidently he's the only one that knows how to use Clubhouse.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I'm so nervous about this. I even checked it.
Listen, why does my shit always have to go wrong with you?
I don't have an answer for that. I'm trying to be interactive. I'm doing a live show. So this is the thing.
Find another platform.
All right. I'll have to figure it out. Maybe next month. John, are you ready to play for Rod?
Viewers, would you please tell Greg to get rid of Clubhouse?
Wait. John, hold on 1 second.
Yep.
Let's just see. Maybe Joe can play for some. Joe, are you there?
Well, he might be there, but
no, he's not there. I mean, he might be there in spirit, but he's definitely not there in real. All right, so Johnny is here. Johnny, in 10 seconds or less, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am the host of the Pit Life Barbecue podcast.
Yep.
Which, Greg, again, thank you so much for taking some time out to join me 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
That was great.
Was he Brooklyn or something? Where is he?
Boston. New England.
Boston.
You can't mark that accent, Sam? I mean, give me a break.
Words.
All right, well, here we go. That seems like it's coming out incredibly loud. Was that loud? Or is it just me? Maybe I have my earphones up too much. All right. So John.
Clubhouse has effed up your shit.
No. John is playing for Rod, who is busy working, I'm guessing. Or he's just listening and not paying attention. We're going to play What Does Sam Like Best? You're going to have to answer or give me 3 out of 5 correct. And we have to do this quickly because there's some other things that I have to ask Sam about here before I let him go and then pick up Bill Oakley to talk about the Arby's Wagyu fast food burger. Johnny, did you try the Wagyu burger from Arby's?
Yes, I did.
Did you like it? Yes or no?
It was an all right burger. Nothing special.
All right. I don't want to review. Just yes or no. All right, Johnny. First question. Of the two, which does Sam like best? Spare ribs or baby back ribs?
Baby back.
All right. Baby back. Lock them in. Sam, spare ribs or baby backs?
You know what? I'm kind of 50-50 on that, so I'll give him his baby back. We'll start him off with a yes.
All right. It's up to you. You're the one supplying what do you like
We'll
best.
start Joe off with
yes.
Yes.
Joe is... Johnny is playing for Rod. If we all... Joe tried to play, but he couldn't get his
now
mic
we're playing for Rod. Okay,
so we were always playing for Rod. Johnny playing for Rod.
Why can't Rod get on? Because it's Clubhouse.
No, because he didn't even take the... I'm not going to get into this with you.
Why should
I already
he be
told
allowed
you
to
why,
play?
and then I explained why. We all agreed.
Why should he be
and
allowed
now
to
we have
play?
John. Rod is the city worker. I asked him to come on. He never took the invite upstage. He's probably working. That's why Johnny's on.
Got it.
Johnny's very embarrassed for you, by the way. He's not going to say, but he's very embarrassed that he has to go through this.
Just keep
Question
going.
number 2. We have one in the hopper. Of the two, which does Sam like best? Chicken breast or chicken wings?
Oh. Chicken wings.
Chicken wings. All right, we'll lock them in. Sam, chicken breast or chicken wings?
So listen, I'm a dark meat guy, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Until now, because I can do so much more with breast. I can pound it thin. I can make it into a curry. I can do it in a soup. He didn't get that one.
Oh.
Breast. But
All
now we
right.
got a game. Now we
One
have a
right,
game. And by
one
the way,
wrong.
I'm answering honestly. I'm not doing this just to make this more fun.
Of course not. It's a shame on anybody that's thinking that.
Right.
So we've washed the first two. Now it's a race to get two right.
Yeah, here we go.
Question number 3. Johnny, of the 2 Barbecue Central Show recurring guests, which one does Sam like best?
Oh, this is not nice.
Steven Reichlin or Meathead?
Stephen Reichlin.
Somebody's going to be mad.
All right, final answer. Johnny Mag says Steven Reichlin. Do you like Meathead or Steven Reichlin?
This is very difficult.
That's all right.
Look, I watch American Idol, real American Idol, not what your nonsense is. And when I hear them say, "Wait, you can't hear this, but there's a police helicopter outside of our place right now, announcing that they're looking for somebody."
Oh dear!
And I don't think it's a good somebody they're looking for.
It never is.
This is very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Steven Reichlin because his food speaks more to me.
I'm shocked.
I love the Mexican food. I love the Mexican food.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Meathead.
No, well, see, I like to switch it up a little bit. And Meathead slept through one of his engagements.
We're still holding that against him? Wow.
Listen, I am my father's son. My father could hold something against the guy for 40 years.
Wow. All right. Well, I've already forgiven him because it was funny, and then I got to bust his balls for a little bit, and then we're over. All right, Johnny.
But Reichlin, look, I'm 20 minutes from Mexico from where I am right now.
Yes.
I love his style of food.
Johnny, you have 2 right. You have 1 wrong. You have 2 questions, one of which all you need to do is get right, and you win the prize for Rod. Remember, we're playing for Rod, who wasn't able to come to the stage because he's probably working. Question number 4. Johnny, between the 2 cheeses, which one does Sam like best? Pepper Jack or mozzarella?
Mozzarella.
Oh, mozzarella. All right. I wouldn't have picked that, but that's all right. Johnny's knowing Sam a little bit better than the average Joe. Sam, mozzarella or pepper jack?
You know, we've used mozzarella a few times recently, and I've been calling it Mott's. Where's
That's
the
incorrect,
Mott's?
by
Put
the
the Mott's in. Let's get the Mott's in. Max goes, nobody calls it Mott's.
No.
I go,
Matzah
no, I
is
disagree.
a Jewish cracker.
Mott's is the thing. No, Mott's. Not matzah.
Oh.
Mott's. So let's see. Well, I'll turn over all the cards. My
Mm-hmm.
choices are pepper jack. I do love my spices. There's no question. But I'm going to go with Mott's because there's way more choices.
Wow.
There's the soft, there's the dry, there's the whatever.
Unbelievable. All right, well, Johnny, you've done it again. You seem to know Sam better than the average guy, which is great. So, I will alert Rod that he's won through text message after the show tonight and get a shipping address and all that bullshit.
He better
over
be working and not on like a smoke break or some shit like that.
I'll make sure I clear everything off and give you the right information. Johnny, appreciate you coming on the show, playing for
Thank you,
Rod,
Johnny.
and winning, of course. And we will, of course, tune into you on the Pit Life podcast. Johnny, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Sam.
And there's Johnny right there. All right, well, that's fun. A little, what does Sam like best? Good questions again, right? We still haven't gotten to question number 5 in like 3 months, and I have the best question.
I can't wait.
Best.
Why don't you put it up front next time?
I feel like this is the question 5 type question. It's not a lead question.
Listen, let me just share this with the audience, and they probably know this, but you're having guests over for dinner.
Yeah.
Right? You want to do some wine-centric kind of thing. You got a really great bottle of wine. People tend to save that. Go, let's bring it out after the steak course or the, whatever. That's a mistake because at that point, people's palates are fucked up. They've had cheese. They've had Asian food. They've had appetizers. They've had the chicken. their palate is not what it should be. If you're going to give somebody as a guest in your home a great bottle of wine or share a great scotch with them, first thing when they walk in the door, that's when they should get it, because that's when they'll appreciate it. They won't have a polluted mouth, won't be all jacked up from macaroni and cheese and
whatever
carnitas
else.
and shit.
Right. Hey, let's try this just to see. There's this guy, Tyler Hathaway, in the clubhouse. I'm inviting him on stage. I want to see if he's going to take the bait, just so I can see if his microphone works. And that way we can just blame it on Joe Martinez. But maybe he's not interested in coming on. Well, I'll just see. I'll keep an eye on him.
If this guy comes on, we should give him the stuff that we were going to give to the city worker now.
I don't know. Tyler, you there? Tyler? Unmute your microphone. Tyler, you there?
Hello?
Hey, there you are. Great. See, this platform does work. So there's something going on with Joe's situation. Tyler, I hate to
Tyler.
I hate to what?
Look, I love city workers, but can we give it to Tyler?
Tyler didn't answer any questions. I mean, no offense, Tyler, right? I mean, you don't want to win a prize that you
didn't win. The
city
worker didn't answer any questions.
Yeah, but Johnny played for Rod.
Fuck it. Let's give both Tyler and Rod a gift.
Wait. Let's do an impromptu one question for Tyler. Get it right. Winner takes all.
Tyler gets it right.
Are you ready?
He gets. Wait, what are you saying? He gets what Rod was going to get?
No, he gets something else. You said you'd give them both prizes.
Okay. Yeah.
I got to take.
Go ahead.
Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself, like in 10 seconds.
I'm a chef, restaurant owner, live in Iowa.
Iowa, all right. Perfect.
Yeah.
What's your food, Tyler?
Jesus Christ.
What's his food?
What's your food, Tyler?
What's your restaurant?
It's classic American stuff.
Classic, all right. Beef, corn, potatoes, all that fun stuff.
If Greg and I showed up.
All right.
If Greg and I showed up.
If
Greg and I showed up, what's the one thing on your menu you would make for us?
Well, we're pretty famous for pork tenderloins around this area.
Yes, the pork tenderloin sandwich. Is it the frisbee style pork tenderloin pressed into a very small hamburger bun? It looks ridiculous.
Correct.
Yes, all right. I know that. Do you know?
Mine is not that way. Mine is not designed that way.
Do you know that sandwich, Sam? That huge pork tenderloin sandwich? No.
Is it crispy?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll send you a picture of it. It'll blow your mind. It's only out in that region of the country. It's absolutely ridiculous and delicious.
Right,
by ridiculous, I mean delicious.
Next week on YouTube.
All right. Yes. How about that, Tyler? You'll get a shout out on Sam's.
Yeah, send it. Hey, Tyler, send a picture.
Okay.
Send a picture, and we'll pimp you, and we'll put it on YouTube.
How about that? All right. Well.
All right. I'll send it your way.
A one question winner takes
all. Is this question number 5?
This is question number 5.
Question number 5.
This is it.
Holy shit.
Of Tyler, of these two, who does Sam think is hotter?
Oh, I love this one.
Lucy Liu or Brenda Song? And if you're looking on video, here they are. Lucy Liu on the left, Brenda Song on the right. Who does Sam think is hotter?
Oh, God. Hold on.
Boy.
Boy.
That's tough. One question to win a prize. Let's get an answer.
We'll go Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu. All right, we'll lock you in. Sam, between the two, Lucy Liu and Brenda Song, as you can see right there, who's hotter?
It's very close.
Lucy Liu.
Very close.
Brenda Song. Both of them.
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu?
Yes.
All right. There he is. Another one.
Yes.
Only because Brenda Song looks like a mugshot, and I wonder what she just did.
You think that looks like a mugshot?
It might have been a good thing. Wait, let me take that back. Maybe I should go with her.
Good
night. It looks like a mugshot.
Oh, you can't take it back now. I mean,
I won't take it back from our boy.
No way. All right, Tyler, you've won on many different fronts here this evening. So all you have to do, A, is Email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. In the subject line, put winner, and I'll make sure that email gets forwarded over to you. And then if you want to just attach that pork tenderloin image as well, you can go ahead and send that along in that email, and I'll forward it to Sam.
Here's what Tyler and Rod are going to get. They're going to get a copy of Sam the Cooking Guy, Between the Buns.
All right.
Which, by the way, Amazon said a couple weeks ago was one of the best cookbooks of 2022 so far.
Wow, look at you. Congratulations. So that's what you have to look forward to, Tyler. Send me that info, and we will make sure that it gets routed to the right place. Again, that's Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. And Sam,
by the way, I'm the right place.
Clubhouse worked.
Once. It worked once. It
Come
never
on.
worked.
All right. Well, I didn't get to ask you about any of the other stuff that I wanted to. And, of course, the official fast food reviewer of the Barbecue Central Show, Bill Oakley, is already in the green room ready to go here. So, Sam, I thank you for coming on, playing two versions. We'll talk about beer with your cousin next time. It's going to be great. I'll ask you about that huge knife that you're wielding. I'll talk to you about garlic.
I mean, you're getting one.
That's right.
Coming to you.
Looking forward to that, Sam. Always appreciate the time, and we will. So it won't be August, but we'll see you in September when we do it because you'll be out of country.
I got to take a month off. You don't care the reason.
I don't.
But it's meaningless to you, but it's important to me. So
all right.
F you.
All right, F me. That's right. We'll leave it on that note. F me. There's Sam the Cooking Guy right there. TheCookingGuy.com is his website, so make sure that you are following him. And if you're not over there on YouTube, subscribe. Almost 4 million of you already are, but search for him, Sam the Cooking Guy, on YouTube, and subscribe if you aren't already. Before we get to Bill, I'll talk to you about Primo Grills. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they are fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that they can get rip-roaring hot for high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts of meat. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking, very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker, not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo Grill and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute the two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. Really, when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to cook on the Primo oval ceramic cooker. They have the best ceramics in the biz. They have patented technology, true two-zone cooking capabilities, multiple sizes, and a host of accessories to complete the Primo Grill cooking experience. Again, sold through dealers only, so find one near you, primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be back with Bill Oakley right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grills from Oklahoma Joe's. Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And the segment brought to you by the company that was getting protested during the competitive eating Smithfield, the Nathan's hot dog contest. Head to smithfield.com right now for recipes as well as tips and tricks from well-known live fire cooks like Darren Worth, Jess Pryles, and Charles Cridlin. Mouth-watering flavor, no artificial ingredients. Smithfield Fresh Pork is quite simply some of the finest pork money can buy and the trusted choice of top cooks for use at competitions and at home. My next guest tonight and coming out of the bullpen is an accomplished fast food reviewer on social media, specifically Instagram at @ThatBillOakley. And we're going to be talking about a number of fast food topics here this evening during our time. So we race to the Oklahoma Joe's Pellet Grill Hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Bill Oakley. Hey, Bill.
Hello. It's great to be back.
Great to have you back, and very excited to talk to you about some of these newer fast food items. Before we get to those, Bill, as somebody who is really fashioning himself as being the leading authority of both eating fast food and then reviewing it within those minute clips that Instagram is giving you and really finding that niche. Is it tough to keep up with what's being released? And have you reached a pinnacle to a degree of where now, whether it be through the direct companies themselves or their media arm saying, hey, Bill, be on the lookout, or we wanted to let you be the first to know that we're going to be bringing out X, Y, and Z?
No. Well, first of all, it's not difficult to keep up because there's not that much. There actually is only I don't have. I don't live in Florida or Texas where there are 1,000 different fast food chains. I live in Oregon where we only have about 12. So it's not that hard to keep up with the things coming out from Burger King, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, et cetera, et cetera. I should also say that it is, however, hard to keep up with snacks. I don't do just fast food. I also do snack food, and that there's an avalanche of that stuff every day. Novelty stuff coming out from every company in the world, ice cream companies, Cheetos, Doritos, Mountain Dew, all that stuff. That's hard to keep up with. So some of it I don't even try. And as far as the companies go, I think I've been cut off most of their lists, which is the way I want it because I'm a critic. I don't give them all good reviews. There's a few companies, God bless them, that still invite me to things or whatnot. But as time goes on, there isn't a single fast food chain that I haven't reviewed negatively in some way. And I think they realize that it's not worth sending me stuff if I'm going to criticize it because I have to keep my journalistic integrity, so to speak.
Well, plus you have a proliferation on social media of people that are willing to do shit for free and sacrifice any ethics or moral compass and just say how great it is with whatever following that they have so they can get something for free. My mantra and my passion now, especially in the live fire industry, is telling people, hey, forget all that. Tell these people if you have any influence over anybody, you want to get paid, you want money, and you give me that free thing on top of that, but pay me first so we can raise the ships that are in this ocean of non-pay, because that has become such a standard that I hate. I don't bring sponsors on the show that don't pay me. You're going to pay me first. We're going to agree on all the stuff that I'm going to do and how we're going to partner together. But that's part of being a professional. Like, what separates somebody that's not a professional and a professional? Getting paid. So that's why we're professional. That's why you're a professional. Give me a break.
Very true. I feel like they, I don't solicit things from these companies, but when they arrive, if I have fun with them, but I don't let them influence my opinion.
Bill, 4th of July was yesterday. A lot of the usual hot dogs and hamburgers were consumed across the country. So, two-part question to lead off here before we get into the Arby's stuff. What's the best commercial brand of hot dog and pre-made hamburger in your opinion?
I'm glad you asked me this. The best hot dog brand that I've ever had is A&H, which is Abel's and Heyman. And it's out of New York. It's been around for decades, but it's only been local. They started selling it in Trader Joe's a couple summers ago, but I haven't seen it this year, and I'm a little worried they lost their deal with Trader Joe's. But A&H hot dogs, if you Google them, they also have a full line of sausages and things like that. Right behind them is Feltman's. And Feltman's is another brand from New York that was originally the brand sold on Coney Island. Nathan of Nathan's worked at Feltman's back. It was the original like hot dog emporium in like the 1860s. So they've gotten that recipe back, and it's really good. I love those. But honestly, those are both hard to find. So I get Hebrew National, which is a very solid kosher hot dog. Everyone in the family loves it. And those are the three brands that I rely on whenever I can't get them. As far as pre-made hamburgers, I haven't really found any pre-made hamburgers that I love. I always make them by hand with just 80%, ground beef, and I think that they've always tasted just a little bit better. I don't like necessarily the proportions of the pre-made hamburgers. I prefer to make a smash burger as well when I'm frying the burger, and that requires, it requires a certain amount of texture to be able to smash down. So I don't buy a lot of pre-made burgers.
You ever had a Bubba burger?
I have. I think I had one about 10 years ago, and I thought it was fine. I don't know if they're one of your sponsors, but if so, I didn't love it as much as a regular burger, handmade burger.
Where is the best hot dog that you can get restaurant wise? Where would you travel to get a hot dog if you could go
hard. I would probably go to New York and get them from one of those places like Papaya King. I think the last one just went out of business this week, though, where they've been making hot dogs, nonstop for about 100 years. Places like that. There aren't any. there aren't, Wiener Schnitzel is the only fast food chain that sells a hot dog other than Five Guys has a pretty decent hot dog that is done on the grill that they split and fry on the grill. I prefer a steamed, if I could go to one place, it would be Portillo's. I've never been to Portillo's in Chicago, that chain, but they have the Chicago hot dogs, one of my favorite foods, as well as the Chicago Italian beef and all that stuff. I would like somebody to fly me to a Portillo's.
What about best hamburger? If you could go anywhere to get a hamburger, do you have one of those?
There's a number of different places that I have been where, the hamburger, are we talking about a chain or are we talking about a local place?
Yeah, just wherever you would go,
Okay.
do you think has the best?
The best cheeseburger, I'm not talking about a weird burger here. I'm talking about a regular burger that's kind of like fast food constructed, is in Santa Monica, California, at a place called Hi Ho Cheeseburger that makes basically what is modeled regular standard kind of In-N-Out burger type burger, but it's in every way far better than what you've normally had. It's just like they've perfected it somehow. And I know there's other places too that I haven't been to, but that's the one that I would make an effort to get back to.
Bill Oakley joining us here on the show. You can find him on Instagram at that Bill Oakley. 36,000 plus followers currently, which is very impressive. So last time you were on, Bill, we talked a bit about Arby's flavored vodka, but tonight let's talk about this fast food burger sweeping the nation. Did a very good job on commercials and promotion. The Wagyu burger. They even had Ving Rhames saying Wagyu. I don't think they were trying to pronounce it correctly. I think they were trying to play it up a little bit. So I assume you've tried it. I tasked my embedded correspondents last month to try at least one time because I know there were a couple different variations. 75% of us took a shit on it. 25% of us loved the shit out of it. What do you think?
I was disappointed. Here's the thing about this burger. By the way, I don't want to fill the whole segment up with this burger, so stop me if I go on because I could go on for 20 minutes about this particular burger. They build it as a Wagyu burger, but it was really 48% Wagyu or something like that. And what I've also heard is that it wasn't actually even Wagyu, that it was this Wangus. I'm sure you guys, your listeners know Wangus, which is a funny sounding word, but it's a combination of Wagyu and Angus. So there was actually somebody already starting a class action lawsuit against them.
Of course.
It showed up somebody sent me a photo of their ad. Like, if you had the Arby's Wagyu burger, you may be eligible for settlement, whatever. So because I guess that they billed it as Wagyu and it wasn't, or it wasn't the right proportion, something like that. Anyway, so I went out there. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Arby's generally, and I was eager to get this, but honestly, I was disappointed, and I'll tell you why. It was basically just like the kind of burger that you get at not as good, honestly, as the burger you get at Applebee's or Chili's or a place like that was just kind of average and very forgettable. The meat in particular was lacking in flavor, and I think everyone who listens to your show will know that you gotta grill a burger or fry it to get the Maillard reaction. This burger was not cooked that way. It was cooked sous vide, like in plastic pouches at some factory. Then it was shipped to Arby's, where they would dip those pouches in the fryer for several minutes to heat up the burger, and then put the pouch in the or take it out of the microwave and put it in the microwave to melt the cheese. So this thing had been through a number of different steps, none of which were really guaranteed to make it tasty. The toppings were fine. I like all those toppings, and I like the buns, but the burger itself just was like eating like slightly beef flavored ground cardboard. And which I felt was a disappointment given that Arby's has such a great reputation. And, honestly, they don't have a grill in Arby's. Apparently they can only fry these things or whatever. So it was a nice try, but it didn't live up to the hype, which was immense.
I was shocked the minute I saw it hit the TV. And of course I immediately texted out to the guys and said, hey, get this done in the next 3 weeks because we're going to review it at the end of the month. Why shouldn't we? Because Wagyu is like all the rage everywhere, or Wangus or whatever. And not only did I not have any expectation, somehow not having expectation, it was actually came in below that because there's a local chain that's right next to this Arby's that I go to 5 seconds from my house called Swenson's. It's like a car hop type place. Widely revered.
Yes, that's the home of the Galley Boy burger.
Yes, the Galley Boy
fast food burger I'm dying to try.
Bill, let me tell you something. I have no hate on Swenson's. They've built a very big local chain here. They have a fan base that is blindly rabid because the food is as average as it fucking gets. And these people cannot see the forest through the trees. They will not call it what it is. Average fast food at best. That Swenson's burger, whatever a comparable size to that Wagyu Arby's would be, is $5 to $6 less. It is about as satisfactory, and I have more money in my pocket if I go to Swenson's, and I'm not nearly as disappointed because I already have an expectation at Swenson's. Somehow not having an expectation at Arby's left me still disappointed somehow with how lacking this Wagyu burger was. And again, I agree with you. When you don't have a grill, when it's not part of your wheelhouse, why are you even introducing this in the first place? There are 7 billion hamburger chains, independents, regional chains, local chains, all doing a pretty average to better than average and great hamburger. Why jump in to the fray? Is it just a marketing thing just to get some hype for Arby's going?
Yeah, there's money to be made. That's why everything is done in businesses like that. You know, they got people into the restaurant, and the people probably all ordered other things. They ordered curly fries, they ordered Jamocha shakes, and it raised people's curiosity level and got them into the restaurant, which is half the battle, if not more, these days with the fast food marketing. I mean, Taco Bell, nobody beats Taco Bell in terms of stirring up a lot of online hype for stuff that really isn't all that spectacular.
Bill Oakley joining us here on the show. So we both agree that the Wagyu burger missed the mark for both of our palates and the other 50% of my embedded correspondents. Rusty, the guy from Utah, is the one that loved it, but whatever. Outside of the Arby's, there's a new Frosty flavor at Wendy's. I've become accustomed to just the chocolate Frosty, but recently there's been an appearance of a strawberry Frosty. So what can you tell us about this effort?
This really shocked me with how good it was. I tend to think that a lot of strawberry stuff tastes like strawberry quick, like powder. And if they use powder for this, just give me more powder. I don't think they did. I believe from what I understand about the creation of this, they bought a lot of strawberries at Wendy's. They also have a strawberry summer salad, which is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some sort of strawberry puree that they mix into the vanilla Frosty. And making this was one of the most delicious strawberry dessert things I've ever had.
Wow.
And I hope that they still have it. They probably will have it for a few more weeks, I imagine. It's definitely something you should check out if you like strawberry ice cream, things like that. Like, I would say this was delivered too, by the way. Like, I bet if you got it right out of the place, it'd be even better, but it really blew me away. And I don't generally give fast food desserts high ratings, but this had a real strawberry tang that really I loved.
All right, so that's one that we're suggesting here tonight. Go try the strawberry Frosty over at Wendy's. And then a fast food place that I would prefer burger-wise, Burger King. A lot of people take a dump on Burger King. You usually have a McDonald's and a Burger King very close in proximity to each other, and the McDonald's drive-through line is always substantially larger than the Burger King drive-through line, at least here in the greater metropolitan Cleveland area. I'm not sure if that's the same for you out there in the Pacific Northwest, but they have a Southwestern Bacon Whopper. So another iteration of really one of my favorite fast food burgers, just the Whopper. A Whopper with cheese, no onions is one of my favorite all-time burgers. When I was at college, Thursdays were $1 Whopper night, and we'd go up and get 6 or 7, sub $10 at fries, at a Coke, and you were in hog heaven. And then you were paying for it later, but it was still great eating.
I agree with you. The Whopper, I think, is one of the best fast food burgers. Burger King, the problem with Burger King, unlike these other places, it only has a few really good items. One of which is the chicken sandwich, the Chiking.
Yeah.
Some of which are like throwback nostalgia items, like their other chicken sandwich from the 70s and stuff. But the Whopper and the chicken sandwich are the only things that would really get you to drive to the restaurant. And I love the Whopper. And I'm happy to see they're doing so many variations on it. I think that they have some new people in charge who are trying to do variations on the Whopper. And this one was the first one, I believe, and it was really good. I actually thought this was great. It's basically a Whopper with some sort of avocado-y sauce on it and a whole bunch of tortilla strips in the middle, and also a spicy sauce. And like, as you eat, if you start around the edges, it just kind of tastes like a regular Whopper, which is good. But the more you get into the center of it, where that stuff is piled up, the more you're like, ooh, I like this. And I honestly loved it. I would love to have another one. It comes in the standard varieties, like the Impossible version, the Junior version, and like the double version as well.
Wow.
So I would recommend people give that a try. And talking about cost, $8.79 for this thing, at least here. I was like, that's the most expensive fast food burger I've ever seen. And that's not the meal; that's the burger.
What do you think about, this is a completely left field question, but when you see the stuff on television, it looks one way, and it just seems like there's not near the amount of care put into actually constructing it on the consumer side. Is there any ability, or is it just up to the franchisee's owner to hold a strict accountability on construction and appearance to make it look at least somewhat like they show you on television? Because routinely I'm disappointed in how messy it is.
My guess is no. My guess is that that they don't care at all about how it looks. They just get them out the door as fast as possible. Is the rule there? I mean, you know how TV commercials are made. Somebody spends 6 hours styling the burger with a hair dryer and all this other stuff to make it look, to make it, putting cotton balls underneath it to puff it up. So, like, I think we all know that that's fake. And I've never. There's only a few places where the food looks anything like what it would look in a photo. In-N-Out Burger being one of them, because it's a pretty simple type of burger. Otherwise, or the Big Mac maybe, but like otherwise, food just is not. We're not used to it looking like it looks on TV.
Outside of the fast food, snack-wise, what's on your radar right now as being hot to eat, things we should give a try?
If you can find them, the Old Bay Pepperidge Farm goldfish are amazing. I don't really like Pepperidge Farm goldfish, but these are something else. I'm a big fan of Old Bay seasoning, being from Maryland originally.
Totally, yeah.
And it is, but these have a buttery, not a cheddary flavor, a buttery flavor. But the Old Bay, best goldfish I've ever had. They seem to be hard to find anywhere anymore. Also, we got all these Mountain Dews coming out. I'm not hearing any of them are particularly good. They got like 10 different ones this summer. What else can I think of? That's pretty much, I mean, there's not a huge number. There's some Lay's. Canada always has a lot more variety of stuff like that than we do. Some mashups coming out in Canada, but nothing on the snack horizon that's really that exciting at the moment.
Have you ever had the Utz seafood seasoned potato chips? UTZ?
The crab chip?
Yeah, the crab chip.
I know Utz because it's from Maryland, and people, you can still buy those out here occasionally.
Yeah.
So I do get them. They're excellent.
Oh, they're
But what I
great.
really like is the Hers one. Hers, it's H-E-R-R-S, pronounced Hers.
Yes, I know those. Yep.
We don't have that out here. We don't have those out here either, but people mail me them from time to time. I love all their chips. They seem to put like twice as much seasoning on the chips as every other company, which I like. And they have Old Bay. They have not only Old Bay brand potato chips, but Old Bay brand cheese puffs as well, which are excellent. So that is, if you're in an area where they have Hers, you don't take it for granted, because we don't have that. And I, every time I go somewhere, like Wawa, is what you guys have Wawa there?
No, not here.
The convenience store chain, from like Pennsylvania and stuff like that. They have so much stuff like that. Everyone takes it for granted. Or people in Texas who have Buc-ee's, things like that. We don't have any of that here, and I would love to be able to eat there more frequently.
Breaking down the snacks and the fast foods as only he can. It's Bill Oakley. You can follow him over on Instagram at @ThatBillOakley. Bill, always appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on tonight.
My pleasure.
There he is. Bill Oakley right there.
All guests appear via the Oklahoma Joe's Rider Deluxe Pellet Grills hotline.
Follow him on Instagram if you're not doing it right now, and hopefully you were taking notes on the snack foods to find. And, of course, Bill, a fast food scholar like John and Doug are with me, saying Arby's burger, no, we'll pass on that. It's all the same, a little overhyped. Of course, don't even think about that. You do a crappy burger under the ruse that it's a really good fancy boy burger or gal, just to get people in the restaurant. I didn't think about that, but it makes perfect sense now. Smarter people than me continue to be out there, and that's why I am where I am on the internet. We thank Bill Oakley for joining us. Before we close out the show, I'm talking to you about Week 2 with David Leans and me. David McDowell, davidleans.com/BBQ. Sign up right now and join me as I start to lean out and rip up. I had my first check-in with David. new round of pictures, new round of counseling, talked about some new menu items, what I'm doing during the week, water amounts, step goals assigned, how much working out I'm doing, and how that's all translating into making a more ripped up and lean me. Am I looking to lose 50 pounds, 60 pounds, stuff? No. But maybe 10 pounds, but more than weight loss. It's just reining in the ridiculous non-self-monitoring of eating. And then as I'm starting to work out and lean out a little bit because I'm getting away from all the crap, do I have some cheat days? Yes. Are they worked into the plan? Yes. Is it working for me? So far, so good. And something I'm able to stick to. But as I lean out, then we can start to get the muscle build and the ripping or the shredding, I think, as those people say. So it's working out great for me. And again, investing $200 a month in me, you can do it too. Join me and we can track it together. DavidLeans.com. That's DavidLeans.com. And he's as available as he says he is, through text, through videos, through emails. He's always there to respond and give you options and answer questions if you have them. DavidLeans.com/BBQ to sign up right now. Do it with me. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the Ryder Deluxe Pellet Grills from Oklahoma Joe's. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rimpey.
And we thank Bill Oakley for joining me last segment. Back in the day, watches were made to be worn in the pocket after World War II. Wrist watches came into vogue. Pocket watches quickly became an afterthought, finding their ways into sock drawers, scrap heaps, and that's a tragedy. Luckily, Vortic Watch enters the fray, helping bring the gap between America's storied watch manufacturing past and bridging it to present day, where wristwatches are finding incredible popularity once again. Here's the coolest part about the Vortic Watch. Each one that they make is unique, one of a kind. Nobody will have the exact watch that you have. Founded on the motto that America wasn't assembled, it was built. Check out VorticWatches.com for more information. There we go. Let's get out all the way back in the first hour. Malcom Reed rejoined us for the first Tuesday of the month regular segment. He was off last month, but he was back and better than ever in the first hour. Then we talked with Rusty Monson, and we both found out who American Idol Season 3 winner was of the Barbecue Central Show's edition, and it happened to be me. And that means Barbecue Central Idol is over. I said it. Once I win the contest, I will scrub it from ongoing seasons. But before I make that final decision, Rusty agreed I should stick with it. We'll ask John and Doug as the embedded correspondent at the end of the month just to make sure. Nobody has any differing opinions, but it looks like it's on the way out. Much reveled by all of the Centralites, I'm sure. Then we moved to the second hour. Sam, the cooking guy, joined me. We played not one, but two rounds of what does Sam like best. Both winners, Johnny Maggs, one for Rod Schrader, who's a city worker over here in Beechwood, Ohio. And then Tyler came in and won a one-question who's hotter, Lucy Liu or Brenda Song. And Lucy Liu took the cake, and now he wins a copy of Sam's new book, Between the Buns. And then we closed it out with fast food and snack expert, official reviewer of this show, Bill Oakley, at @BillOakley on Instagram. He says the Wagyu burger from Arby's is a dumper, and there's a bunch of better ones. But he did say the strawberry frosty at Wendy's is a complete get. So you want to try that out. And the Whopper, the new Southwest Whopper, Bacon Whopper, is an absolute get as well. So we thank him for joining. Big show planned for you next week. It's the second Tuesday, so Meathead is here, and Robert Moss is here, amongst others. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rimpey. Good night now.
Hi, this is Stover, the barbecue hunk. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Have a hunky day.